This is Africa. Robert Mugabe, born February 21st, 1924, in Kutama, southern Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. He was a polarizing figure who left an indelible mark on the history of Zimbabwe. As the country's first post-independence leader, Mugabe initially garnered international acclaim for his role in ending white minority rule and promoting education and healthcare. However, his decades-long rule was marred by allegations of human rights abuses, economic mismanagement, and political repression. This video examines Mugabe's rise to power, his governance style, and the complex legacy he left behind. Robert Mugabe was born into a Catholic family and received his education at missionary schools in southern Rhodesia. After earning multiple degrees, including a Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Education, Mugabe became a teacher and later ventured into politics. In the 1960s, he joined the Zimbabwe African National Union, the ZANU, a nationalist movement fighting against white minority rule. Mugabe's activism led to his imprisonment by the colonial authorities, during which he emerged as a prominent leader within the nationalist movement. Upon his release, he played a pivotal role in the negotiations that led to the end of white minority rule and the establishment of an independent Zimbabwe in 1980. Following Zimbabwe's independence, Robert Mugabe became the country's first prime minister and later assumed the presidency in 1987. Initially hailed as a hero of African liberation, Mugabe enjoyed widespread support, both domestically and internationally. He implemented policies aimed at reconciliation and nation building, including efforts to address disparities in land ownership and promote education and healthcare for all Zimbabweans. However, Mugabe's early years in power also saw the consolidation of his authority and the marginalization of political opponents. He utilized a combination of coercion and patronage to maintain control over the country's political landscape, sidelining rival factions within his own party and suppressing dissenting voices in civil society. One of the most contentious aspects of Mugabe's rule was his land reform program, which aimed to address historical injustices in land distribution by redistributing white-owned farmland to landless Black Zimbabweans. While the initiative initially enjoyed popular support, its implementation was marred by violence, corruption, and economic disruption. The chaotic land reform process led to a sharp decline in agricultural productivity, contributing to Zimbabwe's economic downturn and hyperinflation crisis in the 2000s. The country's once thriving economy faltered, resulting in widespread poverty, unemployment, and social unrest. Throughout his rule, Robert Mugabe faced allegations of human rights abuses, including political violence, electoral fraud, and suppression of freedom of speech and assembly. Opposition leaders, activists, and journalists were routinely harassed, arrested, or subjected to intimidation by state security forces. The government's crackdown on dissent reached a peak in the early 2000s, culminating in the violent suppression of opposition supporters and the controversial 2008 elections, which were marred by allegations of rigging and violence. Mugabe's authoritarian tactics drew condemnation from the international community, leading to sanctions and isolation for Zimbabwe on the global stage. Robert Mugabe's legacy is complex and deeply divisive. While he is celebrated as a liberation hero by some, others view him as a dictator whose rule brought about economic ruin and political repression. His supporters point to his efforts to challenge colonialism and promote African unity, while his critics highlight his authoritarian tendencies and disregard for democratic norms. In 2017, however, after nearly 4 decades in power, Mugabe's rule came to an abrupt end when he was ousted in a military-led coup. He resigned from the presidency, paving the way for a new era in Zimbabwean politics. Robert Mugabe spent his final years in relative obscurity, passing away on the 6th of September 2019 at the age of 95. Robert Mugabe's tenure as Zimbabwe's leader was characterized by both triumphs and tragedies. While he played a crucial role in ending colonial rule and promoting social progress in the early years of independence, his authoritarian governance, economic mismanagement, and human rights abuses tarnished his legacy and left a lasting impact on Zimbabwean society. As Zimbabwe continues to grapple with the legacy of Mugabe's rule, his complex legacy serves as a reminder of the challenges and complexities of post-colonial governance in Africa.